Get a Grip Business Radio. Paul Montelongo.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. Welcome to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show, where the American Free Enterprise System is encouraged, it's endorsed, and it is working full force.
Oh, it's not hard
Yes,
at
it's
work.
working full force. Where
Dang
serial entrepreneurship is a way of life, and we talk about what's real, what's profitable, and what works for you and your business in the free enterprise system. Welcome to our show this afternoon, and also welcome to my co-host, Heather Vale Goss. Glad to
Thank
have you here
you.
again. This is KLAV AM
I
1230.
got the limp mic this week.
Yeah, these...
I
right.
must not have my mojo going.
We're going there. All right. So this is KLAV AM 1230, the talk of Las Vegas, and another steamy, brutal, hot day in
I'm
the
starting
valley.
to love it. I got to tell you.
I'm your serial entrepreneur host, Paul Montelongo. You can listen live to the show, watch it live streaming at paulmontelongolive.com. It's that easy on Al Gore's internet. Which, by the way, I just learned that Al Gore is Aries. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, we'll explore that in a few minutes. Follow the show also on Facebook at Paul Montelongo Fan and on Twitter at Paul Montelongo. Tweet me or Facebook me with your questions and your comments. And PaulMontelongoLive.com is the live streaming feed. We have a tremendous show for our listeners this afternoon.
Awesome.
We're going to talk. We have a returning guest.
By popular demand.
By popular demand, and his appearance before was so popular that we thought we'd have him come back again. Steve G. Jones, he's a hypnotherapist. He's also an expert in NLP, Neuro-Linguistics Programming. Say that fast 3 times.
Neuro-linguistics programming,
NLP,
programming,
right?
neuro-linguistic
Which we
programming.
discovered last time, a very specific definition for that. We'll get into that. But the angle that we're going to take this time is a little bit different from last time. Last time it was the angle was how to talk to people in business, how to negotiate, how to sell in business. But this time we're going to talk about how to influence yourself.
Yeah.
To drive yourself to success, to set yourself up for success, to make sure that you're accomplishing your mission, your
And getting
vision.
past those fears that hold us back, those beliefs that hold us
Right.
back.
And so Steve has some very specific strategies and concepts, ideas, and tools for us to implement, and we'll get into that. Also, a little bit later in the show, we're going to talk for a few minutes about credit and the importance of credit and the importance of having good credit.
Yeah,
This
helps.
is a business show. This is a business talk radio show, and business and business credit and having good credit is a part of being an entrepreneur. So I have a guest coming in a few minutes for that. I thought we'd go ahead and, since Steve is so popular, we just jump right in and start
We're gonna jump right in with
start
Steve,
talking to Steve
Okay.
because there's so much information, there's so much content there. And last time we figured that we probably could have done a 3-hour show with him very easily.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you introduce to our audience Steve, tell us about him, and we'll have him come on.
Steve G. Jones is a board-certified clinical hypnotherapist who's been practicing hypnotherapy since the 1980s. He's the author of 25 books and has created over 9,000 hypnosis audio recordings and 22 different online certification programs, which are sold in over 140 countries. He's been featured on Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker as both a hypnotherapist and a millionaire, and he's been interviewed on CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and of course once before here on KLAV 1230 AM in Las Vegas. He's studied psychology at Harvard, and he holds numerous degrees, including a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in education, and a doctorate in education from Georgia Southern University. Steve, thanks for coming back and braving us.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
Welcome back, Steve. Glad to have you here. So in the intro there, I mentioned that Al Gore, you told me just a few minutes ago that he's an Aries.
Yes.
And what does that have to do with Al Gore being vice president? What does that tell you? Because I know in
Zodiac.
conversation, yeah.
You know what it said? Aries the Ram, don't give a damn. That's what I always remember about Aries.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Typical Scorpio.
In
That's
conversations that we have all the time, like I'll mention someone, you'll say, "Oh, he's an Aries. Oh, he's a
He knows
Taurus. Oh, he's a-"
everybody.
It's
Seriously.
like-
He's
so-
memorized
It's
everybody.
a hobby of mine.
Yeah. So
Well,
what
you're-
does this tell us about Al Gore?
Well, as
and
an-
Aries in general.
All right. Well, if the astrological theory is true, and for me it's just a hobby. I like learning people's zodiac signs, and I can kind of,
Why don't you tell
have fun
everyone
with
what
that.
we are?
You're a Scorpio and he's a Taurus. So, and I'm a Sagittarius, by the way. So, an Aries is the baby of the zodiac, the first sign of the zodiac. So they have very basic interests, food and entertaining themselves and so forth.
You're making them sound like cavemen.
Yeah, well, they're more like babies, but
Playing around with little bitty topics like global warming.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But at the same time, you know how a baby just wants to get down to business. It's either time to eat or time to go to the restroom or time to sleep.
Time to sleep, yep.
That's the way Aries is. They get right to the point. So if you ever want an honest answer, straightforward answer from someone, go to an Aries. They'll just tell you like
I
it is.
have experienced that. You're right.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't care about your feelings or anything. They just
Yeah,
want you
Aries
to
around
know the
don't give
best
a
way to
damn.
do something. There you go. But they do. They want you to have the engineering information to get it done right.
Okay, cool.
So.
So Heather is a Scorpio. Give us
Yes.
the
Ooh.
25-second
Oh,
bit
Lord.
on Heather.
We want this on the air? Scorpio's
Give
a
us the
wonderful sign.
salacious version, if you will.
Oh,
All right.
salacious, big word. I like it. Scorpio is a great sign, of course. And
Of course.
realize, Paul, that you never say anything bad about a Scorpio. It's a very bad idea. So if there were anything bad to say, I would tell it to you later.
Okay, let me write that down. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, Scorpio is the only sign that can ascend from the scorpion to the eagle, so they can
And the
actually evolve.
phoenix.
Whoa, so they can rise,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm sure Heather has. She's an evolved
Oh,
Scorpio.
yeah.
So
I've evolved to Phoenix.
Absolutely.
I figured that out.
Yes,
the
yes.
hard
And
way.
not the university, but the bird.
Right.
Yes.
What is a Scorpio's motivation?
Ooh, the Scorpio's motivation would be you never really know because Scorpio is kind of the secret sign, kind of private. So,
all right.
And what's
we
a
don't wanna take any
Taurus's
guesses.
motivation?
Yeah, tell us about
Tauruses
Taurus.
are all about business, financial stuff, getting things done, moving forward. Taurus wants the biggest house on the block, that kind of thing. So Tauruses are great for business.
And what is a Taurus's main motivation?
Money.
Business, money.
Money.
Yeah, really. I mean, not in a bad way. Just very motivated toward building sound structures and moving toward.
And he's
money.
right, Paul. You're always saying money's the bottom line.
There you go.
Well, in business it is.
Yeah.
Good to have a Taurus in the mix.
All right, great. Now we know about the three signs here in this. What is your sign again?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Wonderful sign, Paul. Wonderful sign.
I'm certain.
We're all about learning.
That sounded so 1970s, didn't it? Like,
What?
what is your sign?
What is your sign? What's your sign? Come here often?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I get another drink?
Hey, what's the 22nd bit on Sagittarius?
Sagittarius? Oh, well, we're all about learning and expanding the mind. So we're all about learning new stuff.
And that makes sense. That's what you do.
It
Yeah,
does make sense.
I learn new stuff. That's
Does-
why I've been in school for most of my life.
Professional student.
That's all right.
So we're going to talk about this topic of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. And I recall in the last show we defined it as the science of I'm ad-libbing here, the science of arranging thought patterns in your mind to create a certain behavior.
Right.
Is that essentially it?
That is. You are taking the information in. You're putting thoughts in someone's head. You're putting positive thoughts in someone's head, and
Including your own.
including your own. Yes,
Yes.
you can use it on yourself or others, and you can take the information and use it to enhance yourself or to cause other people to feel things about you, positive things, of course.
Right.
So those are the basic uses for it.
Yeah,
in
because
a
you wouldn't
nutshell.
want to cause someone to think negative things about you. That wouldn't
No,
make sense.
no, and especially with the Scorpio, we would never want to think. negative
Oh,
things.
exactly.
Scorpio,
That's a great
never.
callback right there. So now we're going to take the NLP concept or the NLP science, because it is a science. True. I mean, there's a lot of research about it. There's a lot of discovery. There's a lot of clinical research.
It's an extra academic science, meaning it's not considered a science within the realm of academia. You don't see universities generally researching it. So I'd call it an extra academic science. But yes, we could still consider it a science.
Okay, great. How do people use NLP in their career to set up a successful career? What is the most prevalent way they can use NLP?
Well, in their career, the best way to use it would be to anchor themselves for success. Create an anchor for success. So, in your career, that's going to take on many definitions over time, whether you're starting out or in the middle or near the end or what have you.
Whether you're
But-
an entrepreneur or working for someone or
Yeah, exactly.
running
there you
a
go.
company, yeah.
It's just so multifaceted. So, but during any of that, the best thing that you're going to get the most mileage with would be confidence. So you can anchor yourself for confidence. And the way you do that is you just think of a time in your life that you're very confident. Build that to a peak state, as we say, meaning you remember all the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and everything related to that moment when you were very confident. And then you just make a motion like the OK sign with your right hand and say the word confident. that anchors you to that. Now, that sounds very simplistic, but it's actually based on Pavlovian research, where Pavlov let the dog smell meat powder and rang a bell. Eventually, there's an association between the bell and food. So there's an association between doing this, saying the word confident, and you feeling confident. So the next time you need confidence, you just fire it off, as we say. You just make the okay sign and think that word or say that word, and you are reminded of those great feelings of confidence that you will then need in that moment.
So before you go into a meeting, it's confidence.
There you go.
Confidence.
That's right. Look at me,
I see
everybody.
this-
Confident.
As you know, I'm a huge NBA fan, and I see this happening frequently at the free throw line.
Really?
So a player will dribble the ball a certain number of times. Sometimes he'll have a little verbiage that he'll go through. He'll
There's one guy that
look-
touches his arm.
He touches his arm.
his
He looks
arm.
up at a certain place.
Okay.
They go through this routine, this pattern. Also in golf,
Yep.
you know, there's the
And baseball.
pre-shot routine. In baseball,
Pitchers.
there's all of that. Right? Is this a form of self-hypnosis, NLP, and anchoring?
You're seeing one of two things playing out, or both together. One of the things that you may be seeing playing out is just superstition. They feel that, you know, if they don't do these things, things won't go well. These are things they feel they have to do. So sometimes it's anxiety-based, and they just feel that they have to do these things, or they won't do well. And there's some validity to that, because if they don't do those things and they feel anxious, well, it's going to throw them off. If they do those things and they calm them down, no matter how ridiculous they may look, then there's value to that, because they're able to relax and do their job. The other thing that you may be seeing is maybe they've been trained in NLP anchoring. So, for example, maybe they pitched the perfect pitch or made the perfect free throw. After that, they did something. They bounced the ball a certain amount of times or what have you, to anchor that in, because you can also anchor after something happens that makes you feel confident. So the next time they want to feel confident, all they have to do is the same routine: bounce the ball a certain amount of times, look at a certain place or what have you. Pitchers will have an entire routine they go through before they pitch. So that anchors them to the time when it did go well. That creates a bridge in time between this event, which is unknown, and the event where it's known, where it actually went well.
So what's the difference then between superstition and NLP? Is it a feeling that we know it's different, or are they just really both the same thing?
Well, these could be, you know, anxiety-based OCD type patterns that they're running. And actually, when it gets right down to the nitty-gritty, that's a very scientific term, nitty-gritty.
Oh, I love
when
that.
Yes, when it gets down to, I learned that at Harvard.
Okay.
When you get down to the nitty-gritty, you are going to find that there's really no practical difference between someone doing a routine that is anxiety-based, based on OCD or what have you, and doing something that they feel is going to anchor them to the past, to a past performance. In either case, it's serving the exact same goal, which is causing them to calm down in that moment and do the best they can.
Wow.
And
okay.
we respond as humans to routine, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
For example, a mother putting her children to bed at night, if she puts her children through a certain routine time and time again,
Great idea.
they come to expect that, all right, 10 o'clock, it's bedtime.
Yep.
It's time for me to close my eyes
Yes.
with that routine.
Exactly.
So, in fact, the mother can be anchoring her children as well.
Exactly. And we're trained in routine from early on. And Tauruses love routine, by the way. Because the routines get things done. They're efficient. But if
I'm
you-
picturing a bull like walking and making a rut.
Yeah, there you go.
Hold on here. That's not in my bullet point. Let me add
I'll
that.
put that in. That's number 42.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Well, if you have a routine, we're all trained in routines from early on. You know, the lunch bell, the PE bell, the first period bell,
Oh,
second
we're
period
all
bell.
just Pavlov's dogs.
Yeah, we are. We're well organized, and we respond well to that. So we live a life of organization. Stop at the red light, go at the green light, pay your taxes on April 15th. You know, we're all trained
You're making
with
us sound
routine.
like robots or something.
Yeah, we kind of are, but Taurus can relate to this. It's more efficient, so you can have time for work, time for play. Everything's more organized that way.
That is true in my case. When it's time to work, it is time to work, full on, full bore, full focus. Nobody's going to get in my way. And then when that's done, it's like a light switch turns off, and then I want to play.
Yep.
I don't want
Paul,
to
did
think
you used to have a
about
mullet?
that other stuff.
I bet you had a
No,
mullet.
No, I never had a mullet.
Business in the front, party in the back.
There you go.
But that is true. Like in my case, the light switch can go on and off pretty quickly.
Right.
With regard to failure, though, let's just take your example of the athlete and his superstition or even his self-anchoring, and he doesn't make that free throw, or he doesn't make that golf shot. Or in the case of a business professional, they don't make that sale, or they experience a setback or a piece of rejection.
Or they totally die on stage doing a speech.
So is there another level at which these individuals can reframe, reshake, retool immediately upon that initial setback to get right back on track? Say, for example, the next free throw or the next sales call. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there are a number of things they can do, and athletes are highly trained in all of this. You would be amazed at the level of sophistication that's used in coaching these days. It's phenomenal. But one of the best things to do is to, first of all, it depends on what they want to do. One of the things they can do is to rinse and repeat. Okay, it didn't work that time. I did my routine. I bounced it 6 times. I looked up to the right. I shot. I missed. Now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it. I'm going to focus more on it this time. I'm going to bounce 6 times, look up to the right, shoot, and hopefully make it. The other thing is they can have a backup that they use. Okay, that didn't work. Now I'm going to my backup anchoring, which may be a completely different routine that they do. Some way that they have anchored themselves just in case this happens. So then they can change it up a little bit. They can do a different routine and then shoot it. Most athletes, however, will dismiss that first failure as okay and just that they weren't that into it. And they will just rinse and repeat, as I've said. They will go ahead and repeat the routine and then go for it
really
again.
like that from a business perspective, because every day in the business world, an entrepreneur experiences setbacks.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to get up in the morning and have a certain set of things that were going to get accomplished. He was going to make a certain number of calls, certain number of leads. He was going to do a certain number of activities that would produce results.
Right.
And then stuff happens.
Life.
And so
Life gets in the way.
He rinses and repeats. I never heard that term before. So rinse and
Harvard.
Outside. Harvard,
It's
fourth
on,
year.
It's on the shampoo bottle, Paul.
Okay.
If you ever read your
In
shampoo
outside
bottle.
of the kitchen, all right, but or the bathroom or whichever.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so-
you shampoo in the kitchen.
I do
okay.
in the same. But so the
More
rinse and
efficient.
repeat or the re-anchoring
Right.
or the backup anchor is what I really liked on that particular comment there.
Yeah, it's very helpful. And you've got to understand that in business, let's say you do 10 calls and you mess up, we'll say, another sophisticated term, 8 of them, and you only make 2. That's considered a successful day.
That's good, yeah.
But in free throws, that's considered
Poor.
your contract is in jeopardy now. If you
bet.
miss 8 out of 10 free throws, you may not get another contract. So it's a completely different level, a completely different set of circumstances, and the requirements are different and actually higher in sports. So they've got to have something they can go to. It can be a numbers game in business. That works great. Just keep going for it. In sports, they've got to have a backup plan. They've got to have the plan B, the alternate anchor.
I like the application of this as well with regard to the people that you have working in your enterprise. Because if you can anchor yourself to success or to good feelings or to productivity, isn't it possible then to anchor others to good feelings and success and productivity?
Oh, absolutely. Businesses do this all the time. They manipulate, for lack of a better term, employees by having these group retreats and so forth.
And
Let's
like the
take everyone-
Walmart rah-rah session in the morning.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
motivation, yeah.
Any kind of rah-rah session is
That's scientific too, by the way.
Harvard. Any kind of rah-rah session is definitely designed to control the minds of the employees to get them thinking good thoughts about. It's not as ominous as it sounds,
It
but
sounds elementary. It sounds almost Pollyanna. The whole rah-rah session.
No, it's
I
sounding
understand.
Big Brother.
But it's effective.
Walmart was started by an Aries, by the way. Just Aries
Oh,
is
okay,
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
back to the Aries.
But it's effective. I
He's a
mean,
baby.
if I have just let's just say I just have 5 people working in my office, right?
Okay.
And I walk in every morning with a big smile and I glad hand everyone and pat them on the back, and I do that consistently for years and years and years, and set the mood of the day at the front end of the day. That is an anchor, isn't it?
It is.
And,
It is.
and the productivity rises as a result.
Theoretically. Now, if they resent that, and if they look at it as plastic, then that's actually going to work against the process.
Well, that's the case with all of this, right? It's in other words, if there's ill manipulation involved, or if there's not
But
authenticity involved.
You might not
But-
know, Paul, because you might be authentic, but let's say one of your employees is a woman and you touch her on the shoulder, and she might have a background that, like, to her, it's like, ugh.
That's a negative.
well, then you
thing.
have
Yeah.
a lawsuit on your hands.
Well,
you'll find
he
that out
touched
real
my shoulder.
quickly.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a savvy employer, you're going to work through that and
You will
find
find
out
ways
what works for your people.
Right. You will find ways to control the environment without them realizing that that's what's going on. They'll think it's a party because you care and you want them to enjoy a party. What's actually going on is that the only reason that party exists is to build camaraderie among the team and to increase the bottom line. Otherwise there wouldn't be a party. The company's not going to put on a party just because they like parties or they like people. And I'm not talking about any company in particular, by the way. We're not talking about Walmart or any particular company. We're talking about psychological theory as applied to business in general.
But it's okay if you care too, right?
Yeah, if you care too. Some companies actually do care. There are companies that do care. And I'm not pointing fingers or saying who cares or who doesn't care. Some companies do care. Walmart may very well have that behind everything, that they actually do care, and I hope so. But whether you care or not, the point is, in business, the point is to make money, to get people doing certain things. So you do what it takes to do that.
To create a culture, an environment
Right.
that's productive.
Yes,
Make
exactly.
them feel like a tribe.
Exactly.
A tribe is a great keyword that's used now to have people feel that they're part of a community. Of course, this community only exists to make money. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's Paul's bottom line too. So
there you go. It's a Taurus community.
Yeah.
in the mall. It's a
Well,
beautiful
this is a
utopia.
fascinating topic. I'm glad we've gotten into this topic so far. And when we come back in a moment, we're going to talk more about self-hypnosis, self-NLP, to really set oneself up for success and to overcome fears and to reach your goals and mission in life. When we return to the Paul Montalongo Get a Grip Business Radio Show right after this message.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Welcome back to the Paul Montalongo Get a Grip Business Show, where the American Free Enterprise System is encouraged, endorsed,
and it's hard at work.
where serial entrepreneurship is a way of life, and we talk about what's real, what's profitable, and what works in business. Our guest this afternoon is Steve G. Jones, hypnotherapist and an expert in neuro-linguistics programming. We've been talking about anchors and how to set up an environment of success with anchors and with
Yourself and your people.
what you call it? Peak state. Put yourself in a peak state.
I like it.
The question I have for you now is, how about your own person, ourself? So how do I set myself up for long-term success, regardless, business, personal, fitness, relationship, anything? How do I set myself up for long-term success?
You mean without having to do anchors every day?
Well, and make it stick. In other words, we're going to do an anchor, I guess, or we're going to have an implementation
Go with it, Paul.
of
Make
a
up that word.
thought.
I like it.
Now we're sounding like aliens
Me
here.
just learn English language. So we're going to have this thought, right? We're going to have this series of things that we're going to want to do, right?
Right.
So how do we sustain that?
Okay, well, as Tony Robbins says, it's we're kind of like pianos. We can get tuned up and then we can go out of tune. So it's good to tune up every now and then. One of the best ways, I feel, is through self-hypnosis. We can make self-hypnosis recordings for ourselves. If somebody wants to hypnotize themselves, I don't recommend talking to yourself as you go to sleep at night, because you're going to fall asleep doing that.
Yeah,
And then no one's going
you
to
won't hear it.
hypnotize you. Yeah. So make a recording. And a recording is in 5 parts. Number 1 is the induction, just a gentle walk along the beach or in the woods. You're just describing it. You're not talking about any hypnosis stuff. You're just relaxing yourself by talking about something you enjoy doing. Next is the deepening, which is just maybe the sun is setting as you're counting from 10 to 1. And you describe that. Then it's the script, where you're putting positive suggestions in your mind, whatever you want to work on. You're getting yourself amped up for whatever's coming up in your life or whatever you want to clear out. Next is amnesia. Amnesia is your attempt to scramble your conscious recollection of the subconscious programming. So you can say something such as, I can forget to remember or remember to forget everything on this recording. That's called a double bind. So either way
Say
you're
that
choosing.
one more time, please.
Forget
Just a
to remember or remember to forget.
Your choices are forget or forget. If you forget to remember, you forget. If you remember to forget, you forget. So it's called a double bind. Either way, you're doing what you want to have done. That's used in sales also, by the way. Like what's a better day for you? Wednesday at 3 or Thursday at 4? Either way,
Right, yeah.
you're coming in.
Make
Yeah.
a choice.
Yep. Your choice is come in or come in. So then we do the trance termination, which is bringing you out of the trance. So you count to 3, typical 1, 2, 3, come out of the trance. Or you tell yourself you're going to drift into a gentle sleep and wake up in the morning. That's if you're making a recording for nighttime use. So again, your 5-part recording is the induction, deepening, script, amnesia, and trance termination. And just listen to that each night. And you can make a new recording for yourself on a regular basis if you want to.
You have this laid out on a tape or a CD or something on your
CDs and
website, don't you?
MP3s. Yes.
MP3
Yep.
on your website?
And CDs.
Because these steps right here, how long do they take?
Induction would be about 10 minutes. Deepening would be about 2 to 5 minutes. Script would be about 10 minutes. Amnesia about 1 minute. And transtermination about 1 minute.
So within the realm of 25 minutes, give or
Yep.
take, you can pretty much hypnotize yourself to
Oh, yeah.
do anything.
Exactly.
You know,
Yep.
I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to run a marathon. I want
I want to be Paul Montalongo.
So it seems
to
like
be a Taurus.
it seems like the things in business that hold people back the most are, like you mentioned, fears, but specifically fear of failure, fear of success. It's the big fears. Will hypnosis work for those big overriding life fears, or are they only for little specific things?
I think it works better for the big overriding ones, and I always start with confidence. You know, you work on confidence first. That's the main thing you want to work on first, and then you go from there. So a lot of these things are based on a lack of confidence, and you have to think, well, where did that come from? Probably came from conditioning that we got, early on. As
yeah.
hypnotherapists, we don't spend a lot of time in the past. That's more of a talk therapy situation, but we do pay, heed to it by going back.
Don't you
and
have to know
cleaning
what
it
you're
up.
dealing with, like dig up enough to say, okay, now I know what I need to get rid of?
It helps, and that's where you get into going into a hypnotherapy office. I sell recordings that are, canned sessions designed to hit the highlights, what most people deal with. If you really have something that you feel needs to be picked apart, go into a psychiatrist's office or a psychologist's office or a hypnotherapist's office, talk to them about what's going on, and get a recording or a session that's tailored more specifically to you.
So these 5 steps here, they appeared to me, and now I'm speaking from a Taurus point of view.
Oh boy, oh boy, we're gonna make some money now.
Since you went
Okay.
Let's sell them.
since you went there early, okay, they seem to be a methodical, step-by-step process that I can go through to set myself up for a prearranged thought in some area. But does that sound right?
Well, that's dictionary. I love it. Yes.
Okay, good.
What he
So-
said.
Yeah, what I said. So what's the shortcut? That's the Taurus in me. Like, just give me the beat.
That's not short enough
What's
for
the
you?
shortcut?
Good Lord.
Forget 5 steps. Let's go to 1.
Shortcut is sleep, and you're changed. We can do instant inductions, but those are more for stage hypnosis. That's pretty short, Paul. That's pretty straightforward. But if you want it even, more boiled down than that, then you can just make. You can write affirmations for yourself and read them a few times a day. That's going to save you from having to make a recording.
Okay.
When you.
And I want to go even a little bit deeper on
Oh,
this
boy.
and talk about these steps right here. What you've discussed right now is assuming that I have a general idea of what I want. So I want to run a marathon. I want to lose weight. I want to, enter into a relationship. I want to have a business that grosses $10 million next year, as examples, right? What if I am not sure about my passion? Or what if a person's not sure about their purpose or their mission in life, or what their real station in life is? They're meandering, they're wondering what is next for them. How does hypnotherapy and NLP help that person?
Okay. Well, I've actually created a recording for that called "Find Your Passion," but yeah, I don't know if the world of hypnotherapy and NLP offers something exactly for that in terms of a quick technique to find your passion. Have you heard of the pendulum? Using the pendulum?
I used to use that.
Okay,
Yes.
it's not hocus pocus. It's nothing metaphysical. You can get a pendulum, and which can be anything. It can be a pen hung by a string, or you can get an official pendulum at a
Or like a ring on a
shop.
necklace.
anything that'll swing. And then you get a piece of paper. Let's say you don't know if you want to be a butcher, baker, or candlestick maker. You don't know which you want to do. So you put those in different axes. So you draw, line here, and a line through them. And one of the lines represents, let's say, our x-axis. One of our axes represents butcher. And the other one represents baker. Then you draw a line through those. That's candlestick maker. You hold the pendulum above them, above all 3 of them, where they intersect, and you just focus on what do I want to be. And you will be amazed. This is nothing metaphysical.
This
is just
metaphysical.
well, some people look at it that way. Your subconscious mind is sending signals to your hand, which actually move it. It will move in the direction of what you prefer. And
Okay.
that's a quick and easy way. I can't think of a
But
faster way to do that.
Isn't the subconscious mind metaphysical?
Yes,
I guess it depends
is,
on where we draw
but
the
this,
line, yeah.
this can work in the absence of metaphysics. If we were to be taken offline, if you will, no internet connection, if you will, to the universe, this would still work because
in a void, it still works.
exactly.
Is that because your mind, your body, your soul already knows what it wants?
Yes, and it's also because your mind is controlling your hands. We have a lot of information on that. Muscle testing is something where you can have someone hold their arm out and press down. It will go down further based on certain reactions that you're having. This is the same type of technology, and your subconscious mind knows it, and your body can show it through these actions.
Okay.
Fascinating. Can a person block this off intentionally? Can they refuse to submit to NLP or hypnotherapy?
They can. It's very difficult, though, when you get into more advanced things such as muscle testing, where you're having someone hold their arm out and you're pressing down. You can easily, here's a little trick you can do next time you're at a party. Have someone hold their arm out and resist your push. Have them think of a number between 1 and 6. And all you do is press down and you say, and they don't answer. You just say, is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 6? Whichever one it is, their arm will go down further on that one in most cases, because there's a difference in that number when they think about that number. So attempting to resist that would be very difficult unless they know what's going on and what you're looking for.
Our producer was really paying attention to that. Jacier, he thinks that's a really great way to pick up chicks.
Are you interested in me
Hey, hold
or
out your
Bob
arm.
or
Let me
Joe?
push on it. Yeah.
Do you like me on a scale of 1 to 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You're all about that, aren't you? You mentioned muscle testing, and you gave it a little definition there. I'm reminded of when you go to the mall and they try to sell you the bracelets or the necklace or the those other apparatuses that are supposed to strengthen your balance and muscle. How
Right.
does that work?
I don't know. I mean, some of that could be marketing stuff. I really don't know. I have heard that there's some value in magnets, wearing magnets. I don't know how much of that is researched. That's really not my realm. I'm really not aware of that. Do you have one, Paul? Have you invested
I do not have
thousands of dollars in one?
I know.
Okay.
I'm
You
balanced.
say the receipt. Okay.
So-
Your balance good.
But Steve, he kind of brought up, he's talking about people resisting, but is it possible that some of us just can't be hypnotized, like it just doesn't take?
Well, Harvard and Stanford got together and created a scale of what they call hypnotic susceptibility. I don't like that word. I like suggestibility. So I developed, once I completed my doctorate, I developed my own scale based on that and called it suggestibility scale. They've ranked everyone on a scale, a numeric scale of how suggestible they are. And you can go through a test that you can do on your own, and you can determine how suggestible you are. And yes, we all do fall somewhere in the spectrum. I look at it like electrical conductivity. Everything is conductive. Wood will conduct electricity, water, metal, everything on the planet will conduct electricity, but some things conduct it better than others. Metal is really good at conducting electricity, whereas wood is not so good. So it's sort of like that. Suggestibility, some people are very suggestible, some people are not very suggestible, but we are all to some degree suggestible.
Are more people suggestible? Are different kinds of astrological signs more susceptible than others?
Well, Tauruses are difficult to hypnotize
Yeah,
because
I knew
they're
you'd
the
say
bull.
that.
They've
I
got
knew
their
you'd
own
say that.
agenda. Scorpios, they would never even let you get near them hypnotizing them because they don't want to lose control.
Which sign is the easiest to
An
to
easy sign,
suggest?
I'd go for an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra.
Oh,
They
that's
are into this stuff, and they're up for anything.
But a Scorpio might be determined to make a change and say, all right, give me what you got. Like, I am willing to give you control because you're going to help me achieve
you
something.
would give someone control under your control.
Yes, exactly.
For your benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That also reminds me of this point. And once we've established our mission, or once we've set up that goal, then there are typically, or frequently, what happens is this thing called self-sabotage.
Yep.
We get in the middle of a goal. I think we've all experienced. I know we've all experienced that. If you're human, we get into a middle of a goal, or we get into a middle of an achievement, and we say to ourselves at a subconscious level, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can finish this. I don't know if it's worth it. I recall years ago when I started running marathons, I was starting to get up in my mileage and starting to run 16, 17, 18 miles. And at one point I said, why do this? Who am I trying to prove this to?
That might be
And
that fear of success or fear of failure.
It was, I don't know. It was probably both.
Yeah,
both,
could be both.
because I had not run that full 26 yet, and I just got back to my house. I remember sitting in my garage and just going, okay, just relax. You made this goal. You made this commitment. Just do it, and you'll feel great on the other side of it. I had to have this little conversation with myself, right? But at the moment, I did feel that self-sabotage set in, and of course, once you're finished with the goal and you accomplish it, then everything's okay.
Well,
in the
lots of
past,
people
right?
give up
Yep.
their goal like when they're almost there.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times that's a sabotage pattern because they don't really want what they're after.
Okay.
Weight loss is that way. Maybe they got attention from the opposite sex when they were younger that was really inappropriate. Well, now gaining weight can cause them to not be interested in that person anymore, and so there's a payoff, as Dr. Phil would say.
Yeah, okay.
Having money, maybe they were told from an early age that rich people are bad or evil or they're jerks. So
Money
having
is the root of all evil, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So they feel that that's bad and they don't want it. So they consciously think they want it, but subconsciously they think, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be a bad person if I'm rich. So you better mess that up. So they start taking all these actions. They start spending money that they shouldn't spend. Maybe they start gambling away their money. They start doing things that lessen their money so they don't become that bad person.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, so where can we get more information from you, Mr. Steve G. Jones?
Well, you can go to my website, stevegjones.com. Lots of
That's
good
easy.
stuff there.
And you're on Facebook also at Steve G. Jones from Las Vegas,
Well,
What?
Savannah, Georgia. Yep.
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. Georgia. Got to say it like
Georgia.
that.
Georgia.
Georgia.
He's Steve G. Jones, and we appreciate him coming back. Great information on NLP and hypnotherapy and how we can use it to better our businesses and our enterprises. And appreciate you being here.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Thanks Heather.
Again,
Thanks.
soon.
My pleasure. Absolutely, anytime.
This is the Taurus asking you.
Yes. I will sign the contract and I will be here.
We'll be back to the Paul Montalongo Get a Grip Business Show in a few minutes.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Welcome back to the Paul Montalongo Get a Grip Business Show. This has been a fascinating show, Heather.
It has. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
We have Steve G. Jones back talking about hypnotherapy and NLP and how it applies
Astrology.
to business, astrology. Yeah, we went all over the place, and we found out that can't say anything bad about you.
Right. Don't even
And-
think about it.
My bottom line is money.
Well, we knew that.
Is
You're
that-
talking about money all the time. Yeah.
That's what Steve helped us
Yeah,
know, right?
yeah.
So my next guest is Wences Perez, and Wences is with Alliance Credit Restoration, and Wences is Virgo.
Yes, you're
Right,
correct.
Virgo. and what do we know about Virgo? He's a people person. He's well organized. He'll do the whole thing for you if you want him to. What else do we know about him? Oh, he'll go to a dive bar to see how real people operate. They want to see the reality, nothing fake. They're all about what's real. I like that. This is a perfect place for
Because
you
the
guys.
show is about what's real and what works. Yeah.
How you feeling about being real today, Wences?
I feel great. I feel real.
Keep it real.
Yes, trying to keep it real. No, it's great.
All right, thanks for being here. Alliance Credit Restoration. We talk occasionally on this show about the importance of credit and about the importance of keeping your business credit worthy. And so I just want to ask you, like right now, what is the status of most Americans? I mean, we're in this coming out of the recession type period right now. What is the status of most Americans' credit and their credit score?
The reality is that a lot of people's credit scores have suffered because of the economic downturn that we've experienced the last couple of years. So the reality is that there is a lot of Americans out there with undesirable, and I say undesirable in that not ideal credit scores.
Are you talking about personal
Sucks.
credit or business credit?
Their credit sucks.
Well,
Wences.
yeah, I wasn't trying to.
See,
in your
Wences
term,
is
yes.
what's about real, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
It wouldn't be real to say bad things about people, would it?
No, that
Credit
wouldn't.
sucks, right?
But you know what? But it's very common, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I continuously come across clients who feel embarrassed, and it really isn't, because it's a very common thing these days. A lot of people, because it was out of their hands, their credit scores have suffered.
Yeah, I think someone once said that bad things can happen to good people. So good people just sometimes run into a wall, so that affects their credit. What's the number one thing that a person can do to get their credit back on track to where it needs to be?
The best thing, the number one thing that a person can do to get their credit back on track is to know what's on their credit report. And the reason I say that is because you'd be surprised how many people out there do not know. They simply, it's been years since they've checked it, and they don't know what it looks like. They don't know what items are there. They don't know what the credit score looks like. And that is probably the worst thing you can do as far as credit repair
And that's
goes.
not a difficult process.
No, it's actually a really easy process. It's a matter of actually, there's different websites that you can go to get your credit report. there's a website called annualcreditreport.com where you're able to go on there and get a credit report for free from all three of the major credit reporting bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And that is the best piece of advice I can give anybody.
Do you have to have good personal credit in order to have good business credit? Or, like, is it related?
Well, actually, it is related because when you're starting your business, there's going to be a credit. Somebody's credit has to be looked at.
Okay.
Typically, it'll be an owner. So when you're starting a business, when you initially start a business, it'll be your credit that'll be reviewed. So you want to have good credit in order to be able to allow that business to get the things that you need in order to grow your business.
Now, a lot of people have experienced bankruptcy and or foreclosure.
Yes.
And how do these two significant events in a person's life affect their credit score in terms of recovery?
In terms of recovery, as everybody, most people are probably aware of, when it comes to those type of items, they do remain on your credit report for the next 7 to 10 years. That is a reality. Now, does that mean that potentially as you move forward, as you get closer to that time, that you can't remove those items? Not necessarily. We can certainly look into those items, but they are going to be long-term items on your credit report.
And you just have to work through them.
Absolutely, you do have to work through them. And one of the things I always advise clients is just because you have a bankruptcy or foreclosure, don't just throw your arms up in the air and give up and say, that's it, I'm done, because you're not done.
Right.
You can still build your credit as you're moving forward. Is it going to be a little bit more challenging? Absolutely. Is it impossible? No.
And I think as an expert in the field, would you tell our listeners, like, what's the process like? I mean, is it a challenging process? Is it difficult? Is it time consuming? Is it laborious? Where do you fit in on this?
Okay.
Francis?
It's actually, I'm asked by clients. The reality is that anybody can do credit repair. You can do your own credit repair, but it is time consuming.
And it is boring.
Yes, it's not as exciting as some other things out there.
So it's better to hand it over to a professional.
Absolutely, because it's going to be time consuming, and it's not just a matter of putting together a letter, sending it to bureaus. It's a matter of knowing exactly what you're sending to the bureaus, what type of verbiage.
Formulate a plan, have a professional, understand that it's persistence. It's going to take some time, and just chip away at it.
Sounds like it's perfect for a Taurus.
And you'll just see your credit score rise. True?
Yes, that is very true.
So tell the listeners where they can reach you, Wences.
You can reach us online by visiting our website at alliancecreditrestore.com, or you can give us a call at 702-834-8150.
And by the way, Wences and his company, they work with people all across the country, not just in Las Vegas. There's no boundaries here. You'll work with people everywhere in the United States.
Absolutely. We have clients in New York, Florida, everywhere.
Great. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the information and the good reminders to get our credit squared away.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Wences.
Appreciate it.
And no Paul Montalongo Get a Grip Business Show would be complete without the segment we call I'm Sexy and I Know It.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Well, this week, Heather, the United States Open Golf Tournament is in full swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice pun.
And I haven't checked the leaderboard lately, but Tiger wasn't doing too good yesterday. But this matter of professional golf is really a big-time money-making deal. The U.S. Open Golf Tournament itself has an $8 million purse.
Wow.
And just so that you know how it gets spread all out, the first place winner is $1.2 million, a little bit over 1.2. The second place winner or first place loser is $755,000.
Or if it was a beauty pageant, they'd say first runner-up.
Right. Third place is a little over $467,000. They pay out all the way through 60. I think 60th gets somewhere around $17,000, $18,000.
Wow.
But what's interesting to me is that these players, they have they make so much more off the course than they do on the course. For example, last year in 2012, Tiger Woods made $2 million on the course, but his endorsements racked up $62 million.
He's still getting endorsements.
He is.
Wow,
And they're,
okay.
and they're picking up. Phil Mickelson, he made about $4 million last year, but his endorsements were around $42 million. And here's what's interesting. Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Greg Norman are names from the past.
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer, zero money last year. Jack Nicklaus, only $155,000. Greg Norman, only $75,000. Yet, their off-the-course endorsements were $36 million, $29 million, and $22 million,
That's
respectively.
great. Wow.
All right,
you don't
then-
even have to play golf, Arnold, and you get those. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's called setting it up way in the past. The next thing is, I just got a note that Phil Mickelson is in the lead. All right,
All right, go Phil.
he's going after that 1.2 million.
Like
Superman,
instant millionaire.
yeah, Superman, Man of Steel comes out today, and the expected box office take is $105 million. So
Yeah, people started watching it at 12:01.
wow, you gonna go watch
like
it?
midnight 01.
You gonna watch it?
Yeah, apparently the reviews aren't up to par. So
I'm not a real big Superman fan, but we'll see.
how
We'll
do
see.
you not like Superman? He's the only one that can fly.
I will see. And then finally, Toby Keith is holding a charity concert for the victims of the Oklahoma tornado. His guests include Willie Nelson, Garth Brooks, and Trisha Yearwood. He expects to raise about $8 million for the Oklahoma tornado victims and for that area. And that's
Nice.
because he's from there and he's recruited people that are from Oklahoma. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, they have a ranch up there. Willie, I think, spends a lot of time out there. Toby Keith is estimated net worth of about $80 million. Garth and Trisha have an estimated combined net worth of about $365 million.
Nice.
And Willie Nelson about $15 million.
Not bad, Willie. Not bad.
So not bad for 80 years old and,
Yeah.
a guy that enjoys the party life like Willie Nelson, all right? So I think it's a good thing that they're doing up there for the tornado victims.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And there was also another concert up there that raised upwards of $10 million to help these victims of the Oklahoma tornado.
You know, that
So
was a good Freudian slip. They're allowing victims to turn into victors.
there you go. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So professional golf, Toby Keith, his compadres, his guests that are in the concert, and Superman. They're all sexy and they know it.
Superman's always sexy.
There you go. That's our show,
Nice
folks.
abs.
Remember to see the replay live at paulmontalongo.com. I want to thank all of my guests today, Steve G. Jones and Wences Perez. Also, thank you very much, Heather Vale Goss, my
You're
co-host.
welcome.
And remember to follow on Twitter at Paul Montalongo and Facebook at Paul Montalongo Fan. Get out there and make yourself and your enterprise an integral part of the free enterprise system.
And
of
have
the
an
American.
awesome weekend, even if you're in Las Vegas and it's hot.
By the way, it is Father's Day this weekend.
yeah,
So all of you
yeah. Happy
fathers,
Father's Day.
congratulations. Happy Father's Day. And I'm a father.
Well, happy
so-
Father's Day, Paul.
Well, thank you very much. And my two sons, one lives in San Antonio, one lives in San Francisco. So I'll be reaching out to them and talking with
That's
them.
almost a TV show, my two sons.
There you go, my two sons. So remember to support become an integral part of the American free enterprise system. It's the very best business system in the world. And above all else, remember to go home. Nope. Remember to go big or go home. That's the Paul Montalongo Get a Grip Business Show. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.